Welcome to the Big Bad Marketing Podcast. I'm Janae.
And I'm Brooke, and this is bonus episode 22.5 on the top five pricing mistakes that kill sales.
Woo, woo, woo.
Pew, pew, pew. Bonus episode. So we just got done episode 22, all about pricing your products and services. And one of the things that we want to cover off is the things that you can do that are going to really turn people off from your product or service, things to avoid, if you will, when you are doing your pricing.
What not to do to get that dollar bill, y'all.
Absolutely. Y'all. Can't say dollar bill without y'all.
Y'all.
Number one, underpricing or overpricing. And probably the easiest path to these things is when you don't math and you're just kind of taking a shot in the dark and you land somewhere that ends up being way too low or way too high.
Yeah, I think when you undervalue your product or sell it at least for a lower cost than either is reasonable in market or makes sense for your product because you did all the math, la la la, it just seems cheap. It seems like you're kind of skating it by and trying to pawn it off on people. It's like giving desperate, please take this from me. I'll give it to you at a really low rate. Not ideal situation.
Yeah, not what you want your customers to feel when they buy from you, right? You don't want them to think, "Ooh, this is going to be cheap." I've never really been excited about getting something for cheap unless it's something that I think I got for a steal, right? It's like
Yes.
the Marshall's experience of I got these Lulu pants for 30 bucks. Can you believe it? But that's not a reflection of the product. It's a reflection of kind of the way by which I came about the product, if that makes sense.
Oh, yeah. And that just goes totally on board with everything we say about build your brand. Your brand is what's going to make the difference. And you were excited about that because the brand value that's coming through from that particular item versus the price.
Yeah.
You already had a sense that this is valuable. So you're all in.
Yeah.
The other thing that happens when you sell things at a really low, cheapy price is you might not even be able to cover your expenses or the cost to produce the thing or your time or whatever it is. So, really think long and hard before you go way low on your pricing.
Yeah, and I mean, the vast majority of small businesses, let's be honest, they don't make it. And cash flow is the number one reported problem. So a lot of people go into it and they either develop a product and end up with a bunch of inventory, or they, sign up for all these softwares and subscriptions and services and things that they don't need. And then all of a sudden there's no money coming in. And that's what happens when you undervalue the product and service, or you're not getting enough people coming in the door because it is the perception of cheap. So, on the other end of the spectrum, when you overprice something without being able to demonstrate the clear value that it brings, that is another way to turn people off.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
That's what your customers are going to be saying.
Yeah, and I think this can happen with uh, I hate to say it, but I've seen this with like the boutique coaching programs where they're like
Hmm.
mastermind $5,000 to join my mastermind program. And it's like, well, who are you? Why do you like who did you just make up this mastermind this last weekend? Like, I don't know who you are. Why would I pay you $5,000? That to me is an example of overpricing without showing me the value.
Okay. What I love about you saying that is I totally agree. Who are you even? But what's happening there is that person has figured out how to showcase the value of what they're doing and put it in a compelling offer, which maybe isn't working for you because you're a little more savvy or they're just like not your person, but it's working on some people because generally speaking, they've built themselves up slowly and over time to a much higher price point, which is coming across as ridiculous to us when we're like, we don't even know you. You don't even have, what was that I said, a musical celebrity to support and endorse you. You're just like, a random person on the internet. But it's working on some people and they're able to package their value in a way that makes sense to certain individuals. So I love
Yeah.
that example.
So I think about it in terms of the people that jump there. So if you are if you're a legitimate, say, business coach and you have helped people for decades build their businesses and you've got this track record of success and all of this testimonial and social proof and yada yada, then sure, like charge out the wazoo because you probably are worth it. I'm talking about Joe Schmo who turns up with his coaching business when Joe Schmo was just mowing lawns last week. That's the kind of
Hmm.
thing where I'm like, okay, now Joe, you
Explain
can't,
yourself.
right, exactly. Exactly. Prove the value, right?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, another huge mistake that happens when making pricing that is a mismatch is undervaluing your service or product. So you're like maybe feeling self-conscious about charging a lot, which we'll get to in a future episode about imposter syndrome and not being clear about what the worth and value of your time and effort is. But let's say you're selling handmade goods, right? Like those things don't come from a machine and get pumped 500 widgets in one. So it's okay to charge the appropriate amount and make sure that the value is showcased in the price and reflected in the price that you choose.
Yeah. So, someone very close to me, and you'll know who you are, and hello, and I love you when you listen to this episode, does wallpapering, which is a very unique skill that not many people can do. And I happen to think that this person is vastly undercharging compared to what other people are.
Hmm.
And it's perhaps that they're undervaluing the service that they bring. So there is something to be said for going to look at what competitors are doing, figuring out how much people are willing to pay, and then raising your prices a little bit as you get more comfortable to a price point where you start to meet that little bit of price resistance that tells you you're in the ballpark. Because I don't think anybody's questioning it. And I think they could be making a lot more and probably should be for that type of service.
Well, and in addition to the imposter syndrome there of like, am I really worth that? I don't know. It also reminds me of scarcity mindset, which is thinking that there's not going to be other customers or other leads or prospects in your pipeline who are more than willing to pay that amount. Like you just said, like some people are willing to pay $5,000 for a mastermind. Like, come on. I am sure that someone is really willing to pay a reasonable price or a fair market price for your amazing wallpaper services, right? Whatever you do, like you got to build some confidence and self assurance that it's okay to charge your worth.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 100%. So, number three, overcomplicating your pricing. This,
Ooh.
yeah, this can just sort of put someone in that state of analysis paralysis where they're like, okay, wait, so if I get package number 7, I'll get access to the course, but then I won't get the email, but I will get you know what I mean? Like when you give somebody so many options or so many different permutations of what they can buy, if
Hmm.
you allow them to stack things together, which are all different prices, you're going to turn somebody away.
Sure. And I think customizing becomes really powerful because it helps each unique customer get exactly the service or products that they need and nothing else, or, sort of just the value that they're looking for. But it can also create exactly what you're describing, this sort of like overwhelm creep where there's way too many customizations happening and it instead of streamlining the process and the experience, it's just making it hard to make sense of.
Yeah. Make your pricing make sense. Rule
Yeah.
number one.
Here at Big Bad Marketing, we stick with like a three-tiered system. So you get this one and it comes with this. You get number two and it comes with all of that plus this, or you get number three and it comes with this. And it's easy to digest when you look at it. It makes sense and it's clear, not overwhelming.
Yeah. And show it to people. Ask them if it makes sense. If you're worried about overcomplicated pricing, go out to the market and ask them how they feel about your pricing because people will give great feedback on what they do understand and what they don't understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, last couple here. Another big mistake you could make is not finding the right niche or audience to market your products to of people who want to pay for what you're creating and selling. If
Yeah.
you are tapping on the wrong doors, you ain't going to find anybody who wants to buy it. It doesn't matter what the price is.
Yeah. And I think just failing to niche down when it's appropriate too, right? So if you are offering coaching services and say you're a business coach, maybe you're not getting a lot of traction as a business coach, but if you could be a business coach for gyms Now you're kind of okay, we're narrowing in on a market. And if you have experience in that area, you're probably going to be able to charge more as a business coach that has experience in gyms than you are as just this broad strokes business coach. So look for opportunities to niche down where it's appropriate. Same thing with product-based businesses. If you sell t-shirts, can you sell t-shirts that are funny and cute for kids? Like, can you find a way into a niche that's going to create more profitability and enable you to charge a higher price point in the long term? Yeah. All right. So, last one, pricing mistakes that can kill your sales is not considering the competition, because the reality is your audience is. And think about the way that you shop. Do you compare costs? I definitely do. And I definitely do more so when I am looking at a high ticket purchase.
Hmm.
So keep in mind that if you're at like a way higher price point than your competition, you need to justify it and you need to show your value, right? So you need to showcase your expertise. You need to have those solid testimonials in the companies that you've worked with, and you need to prove that you've helped other people do these things before. Like, you've got to justify everything. Otherwise, people are just going to skip right over you and say, that doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, it's about answering that question of why. Like, why are you priced the way that you are? And being able to explain that. And your people will find you if you're pricing yourself high, the audience that makes sense for that price point will come to find you as they're doing, like you said, consideration and research. But if you're not clarifying the reason that you're charging that, it doesn't matter whether or not they have the money for it. It's not going to capture any leads because there's no explanation.
Yeah. So price it right, position it to the right people, create the compelling offer, and it's all going to work together.
Yeah, I just realized this is like literally the price is right.
Yeah. So make your price right.
Yes, and adopt a pet today.
Wait, what?
Oh, that's how they end all the Price is Right episodes is like to adopt pets and spay and neuter your animals. Have you never
How
heard
did
that?
I not know that?
Oh, you gotta check it out. Yeah, they're big proponents of animal care and welfare.
Okay. I see now I'd like to do a cool sign off like that. So thanks for listening and adopt a pet today.